The highly contagious Ebola virus is sweeping West Africa, and it just seems to be getting worse. According to the World Health Organization, there are over 1,300 confirmed suspected cases of Ebola in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. Now, those numbers are expected to climb, along with a rising death toll. To date, there are over 700 confirmed deaths. One American, Patrick Sawyer, has died, and 2 other American aid workers are diagnosed with Ebola. Despite some concern here in the U.S., the Center for Disease Control is now planning to bring those 2 to Atlanta for treatment. This will be the first time the CDC will treat Ebola here in the U.S. Dr. Kent Brantley was in Liberia's capital city of Monrovia working with Samaritan's Purse, which is a Christian aid organization treating victims of this violent disease, where he fell ill himself despite the utmost preventative caution. The other, an American woman named Nancy Wrightbowl, was there doing other aid work when she contracted the disease. Both Americans are undergoing experimental treatment there and are in grave condition. Health officials say they will spare no caution to protect all parties during this transfer to the U.S. They're deploying plastic tent enclosures, as you see there on your screen, to keep them isolated on the plane during transport. So how did we get here? Well, in the case of Patrick Sawyer, he really was within one plane ride away from potentially putting other Americans at risk. Mr. Sawyer was en route back to Minnesota after a business trip in West Africa. At some point, he contracted Ebola and felt ill. Just 5 days later, he took a plane ride to Nigeria, where he died very shortly after he got off the plane. Nigeria was meant to be his last meeting location before coming home to his wife and 3 little girls, all under the age of 6. For Mr. Sawyer, he experienced probably one of the most aggressive cases of Ebola, because the time between contraction and his death was only 5 days. Typically, the incubation period is around 8 to 10 days before symptoms even begin to show, and it usually takes weeks for victims to die. Now, Ebola symptoms are often mistaken for the flu, which could be why many people go undiagnosed and unwittingly spread this disease. The symptoms are virtually identical to the flu: fever, chills, headaches, sore throat, and later vomiting and diarrhea. Now, when the vomiting and diarrhea kicks in, that's when the victim is most contagious. Basically, all of their bodily fluids are infected, and any contact with those fluids can cause the contagion, even sweat. Nobody really knows exactly how or where Ebola began, except that it was first documented in humans back in 1976. It's believed that it began with fruit bats in Africa, but that's still not 100% confirmed. Now, within humans, Ebola victims begin to hemorrhage blood in their vomit, in their stool, in their urine. They even begin to bleed under the skin. But that's not actually what kills you. It's when the blood vessels deep in the body begin to leak fluids. That causes a severe drop in blood pressure, which then causes your heart, your kidneys, your liver, and other vital organs to begin to fail. And that's ultimately what kills you. Now, the CDC has issued a level 3 travel warning, which is the highest alert level, asking people not to travel to Guinea, Liberia, or Sierra Leone. For now, there is no cure, only caution. From Washington, Manila Chan, RT.